The silent epidemic porn addiction in men. You know, folks come to me all the time with problems they just can't seem to shake. And in this day and age, there's a new epidemic sweeping across the globe, and it's hitting men particularly hard. We're talking about porn addiction. It's easy to think, it's just a bit of fun, what's the harm? But let me tell you, this ain't no laughing matter. We're talking about serious consequences that can impact every area of a man's life. Now, I know some of you might be a little uncomfortable talking about this, but we don't shy away from tough topics here. We confront them head on. So if you want to understand the real dangers of porn addiction, stick with me. We're going to break it all down so you can take control of your life and get back to being the best version of yourself. If you want to support my YouTube channel and you like this type of content, subscribe to my YouTube channel, like the videos, share my videos with your friends, and join my community on Telegram at Solanaire Mindset. Mind over matter, mental health, and porn addiction. Now, some folks think watching a little bit of adult content is harmless, but let me tell you, this stuff can mess with your mind. We're talking about increased anxiety, depression, and even body image issues. You start comparing yourself to what you see on the screen, and suddenly you're not good enough. It's like looking through a funhouse mirror, distorting your whole perception of yourself and the world around you. And don't even get me started on the shame and guilt that comes with this addiction. You sneak around, hide your behavior, and isolate yourself, which just makes those negative feelings even worse. It's a vicious cycle that can be tough to break free from. But remember, you're not alone in this, and acknowledging the problem is the first step towards healing. Love on the rocks, relationship problems, and porn. Let's talk about relationships for a minute. You see, real intimacy, the kind that builds a strong, lasting connection, requires trust, vulnerability, and emotional connection. But when porn addiction enters the picture, it creates a wedge between partners. It sets up unrealistic expectations and distorts the view of healthy sexuality. This can lead to a lack of communication, decreased intimacy, and a whole lot of resentment. And let's be honest, hiding this addiction from your partner only creates more distance and distrust. In the end, everyone gets hurt. Behind the curtain, the truth about porn and expectations. Here's the deal. The fantasy world of pornography is just that, a fantasy. It's all smoke and mirrors, carefully crafted to keep you hooked. But here's the thing, real life doesn't work that way. Real relationships are about connection, communication, and compromise. They're about two imperfect people choosing to love each other, flaws and all. But when you're constantly bombarded with these unrealistic portrayals of sex and relationships, it can distort your expectations and make it difficult to find satisfaction in a real-life partner. Chapter 4. Fading Intimacy. When porn affects real-life pleasure. You see, the human brain is wired to seek novelty and pleasure. And when you're constantly bombarding it with highly stimulating content like pornography, it can actually decrease your sensitivity to pleasure in real life. This means that over time you may find it more difficult to get aroused or achieve satisfaction from real-life sexual experiences. It's like your brain becomes numb to the real thing because it's become so accustomed to the instant gratification and exaggerated scenarios of pornography. This can lead to feelings of inadequacy, frustration, and even anxiety around sex. Chapter 5. In the bedroom. The link between porn and erectile dysfunction. Now, this is a tough one to talk about, but it's important. Erectile dysfunction, or ED, is a common problem, and while it can have many causes, porn addiction is a major contributing factor. You see, when you're constantly exposed to the same type of sexual stimulation, your brain can become desensitized, making it difficult to achieve and maintain an erection in real-life situations. It's like anything else. If you work out the same muscle group every day without giving it a rest, it's going to get fatigued. The same thing can happen to your sexual response system with excessive porn use. Chapter 6. Disconnected. The isolation of porn addiction. One of the most insidious things about porn addiction is how it isolates you. You start withdrawing from real-life interactions, avoiding social situations, and neglecting your relationships. It's like you're building a wall around yourself, brick by brick, shutting out the people who care about you most. You may feel ashamed of your addiction, afraid of being judged, or simply too preoccupied with your next porn fix to engage in meaningful connections. But this isolation only digs the hole deeper, fueling the addiction and making it even harder to break free. Chapter 7. Money Matters. The Financial Strain of Porn Addiction. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, money. Porn addiction can be expensive, plain and simple. Subscription fees, premium content, webcam shows, it all adds up. And before you know it, you're digging yourself into a financial hole that seems impossible to climb out of. But it's not just about the direct costs. Addiction can also impact your work performance, leading to job loss or missed opportunities. And when your finances are a mess, it creates stress and strain in every aspect of your life. Chapter 8. Crossing the Line, Legal Risks and Pornography. We gotta keep it real here, folks. Not all pornography is created equal. There's a dark side to this industry that can lead to serious legal trouble. Downloading or sharing illegal content, accessing child pornography, or engaging in any form of exploitation is not only morally reprehensible, but also carries severe legal consequences. These actions perpetuate a cycle of harm and abuse, and it's crucial to understand that accessing or sharing this type of content is never acceptable. If you or someone you know is struggling with these issues, it's essential to seek professional help immediately. Chapter 9. The Workplace. When porn addiction impacts your career. Look, your career is important. It's how you provide for yourself, your family, and build a future. But when porn addiction starts creeping into your work life, it can have devastating consequences. Decreased focus, poor concentration, and even absenteeism can quickly derail your career trajectory. And if you think your boss isn't noticing, think again. Word travels fast, especially when it comes to inappropriate behavior. Protecting your career means addressing this addiction head-on and seeking the help you need. You might think this is all in your head, but porn addiction takes a toll on your physical health too. Sleep deprivation, eye strain, and even carpal tunnel syndrome are just a few of the physical ailments that can arise from excessive porn use. And let's not forget about the impact on your relationships and social life. When you're constantly glued to a screen, you're missing out on opportunities for physical activity, social interaction, and genuine human connection. When you're struggling with porn addiction, it's easy to fall into the trap of self-criticism and negative self-talk. You start comparing yourself to the unrealistic standards set by pornography, and inevitably, you come up short. This can lead to feelings of inadequacy, shame, and low self-worth. Remember, you are not your addiction. You are worthy of love, respect, and happiness. Breaking free from porn addiction is a journey of self-discovery and self-love. It's about reclaiming your power, rebuilding your self-esteem, and embracing the fullness of who you are. Now, this isn't meant to scare you, but it's important to understand what's happening inside your brain when you're addicted to porn. Repeated exposure to highly stimulating content can actually alter your brain's reward pathways, making it crave more and more stimulation to achieve the same level of pleasure. This is what we call tolerance, and it's a hallmark of addiction. The good news is that the brain is incredibly adaptable, and with the right tools and support, you can rewire those pathways and break free from the cycle of addiction. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Breaking free from porn addiction is a journey, and it's not always easy. But I want you to know that you are not alone in this. There are resources available, people who understand what you're going through, and proven strategies that can help you overcome this addiction. Remember, you are worthy of a healthy, fulfilling life, free from the grip of addiction. Taking that first step towards recovery is the bravest, most powerful thing you can do for yourself. For those who watch till the end of the video, here's a bonus tip for you. Men who are addicted to porn won't be able to reproduce due to low sperm count, which is very difficult to cure. So, young men, stay away from pornography.